Namaste. Welcome to Gentle Yoga with Joy. Before we begin, remember, always consult your doctor before beginning this or any new exercise. This or any exercise program could result in injury. Always seek the advice of your physician or another qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. By continuing with this video, you are agreeing to waive any claim for personal injury and any other damages against instructor, photographer, and others involved in the production. Getting started now. We want to take a moment at the beginning of class just to check in with our body, maybe for the first time today, to notice how we're feeling, parts of our body that feel good, parts that might not feel so good, noticing without judgment, remembering that we're always free to modify as we go through the practice. Breathing is mandatory, but everything else is negotiable, and we negotiate as we go through the practice. So beginning, lying onto our backs to begin with. We bend our knees upward and lean them against each other for support. We extend our arms beside the body, palms upward. We can use our props here to make ourselves more comfortable. A folded blanket under the head and shoulders for support. Maybe some support under the lumbar spine as well. Shutting the eyes or softening the gaze. Take a few deep breaths. Preparing the mind and body. For the next 45 minutes, we want to focus right here, right now. When the mind wanders, as it always will, we gently bring it back, noticing how we're feeling and how we're breathing. The breath is the foundation of everything we do in yoga, and again, it's the only mandatory part in this practice. Steady, easy breath, the foundation for everything else we do in yoga. Filling the lungs fully, long, full exhales, and using our diaphragm there in the lower abdomen. Intrinsically relaxing breathing. Now we might extend that right leg and gently flex the right foot. The leg can be left on the floor, or for a little more intensity in the stretch, we might lift that leg a few inches off. Pressing through the heel, we don't force the knee straight. It should be a good, not a painful stretch, as with all our yoga stretches. We might extend that left arm up and over if that's comfortable for the shoulder. And now as we breathe, press through that right heel gently. Extend up through the fingers of the left hand. Imagine that diagonal line of energy through the body. Breathe. And release, bringing that arm and leg back in. And extending the left leg. Again, gently flex the foot. Find a good, not a painful stretch there through the hamstrings of that left leg. And again, option to extend right arm up and over. We press through the heel, lengthen that line, breathe. Diagonal stretch. Releasing, bringing the arm and leg back in. Now we bend the right knee upward. Opening the eyes, focusing the gaze. We can bring the hands onto the shin or onto the thigh, or we always have the option to use a strap around the back of the thigh. It doesn't have to be a formal yoga strap. Anything like a towel or sock or belt will do just as well. As we pull that right knee toward the chest, ideally, again, we're looking for a good and not a painful stretch. We may have issues in our body where we don't want to take it out of the comfort zone. So again, modify as we go. Notice how the lower back feels here. We might choose to keep that left knee bent upward with the left foot on the floor, or we might find it more comfortable to extend the leg. Just noticing what feels right today. And as we breathe, gently press that right knee toward the chest. Each exhale, we're trying to flatten the spine toward the floor. Pavana Muktasana, knee to chest stretch. Release the right leg. Extend that right leg up toward the ceiling. Gently press through the heel, again, not forcing the knee straight. We're still evaluating how our hamstrings feel and still looking for that good, not painful stretch. Once we've pressed through the heel, then we can point the toe and alternate a few times between flexion and extension as we free up our joints here at the beginning of class. Try rotating that ankle. Skip any of this that doesn't feel right. Again, we know our own bodies best. Rotating back the other way. And then as we press through that right heel, slowly and with control, we can lower the right leg down to the floor. If we want to make this more challenging, we can keep our arms overhead along the floor. If we want more support, arms beside the body. Always free to make that call day by day. Bending the left knee upward now. Again, we can use our hands, shin or thigh, or use our strap. And that right leg might be extended, or we might find it more comfortable to keep the knee bent upward. Deep breath in. Exhale, pressing the knee toward the chest. And again, as we breathe, we try to flatten the spine. The exhale is an opportunity to try to release tension, to notice where the muscles are restricting us. Steady, easy breath, Pavana Muktasana, knee to chest stretch. Release the left leg. Extend that left leg upward. Again, gently take that stretch, pressing through the heel, never forcing the knee straight in this or any other pose. Pointing the toe and then flexing, alternating between flexion and extension, and then rotation. Rotating back the other way. Pressing gently through the heel now, we find that good, not painful stretch. Slowly and with control, we lower the left leg down. Arms overhead or arms beside the body, whatever feels right today. Bending the right knee upward. We leave the left leg extended now. Continue to grasp that right knee, hands or strap. Flex the left foot, press through the heel gently. We might lift that leg a few inches off the floor. If we prefer, again, at any time, we might lower the leg to the floor, but keep the muscles tight and engaged. We can do it isometrically instead if we prefer. We're still pressing that right knee toward the chest. Draw the navel toward the spine, engage the core. Core strengthening exercise here. Swing that left leg out as far as we comfortably can. Again, notice what the left hip feels like. Make any adjustment we need. We can continue to hover that leg just above the floor for the space of another breath. If it feels better, we can go ahead and release the leg down at this point. Release the leg if it's up now. Checking in with the left hip. Again, we might want to modify, bringing that leg in a little bit further, depending on what the hip is telling us. As we breathe now with that leg in the abducted position, we're still pressing the right knee toward the chest. We're still trying to flatten the spine toward the floor. And we can experiment again, depending on how much stretch we're feeling in that left hip. We might be pressing that left hip down or not. Finding that good, not painful stretch. Ardha Chaturangandasana, we can call this half hip pose. Lifting up that left leg, swing the leg back in line with the spine. Release the left leg down. Release the right leg. Extend it up toward the ceiling. Slowly and with control once more, we lower the right leg to the floor. And leaving that right leg on the floor, we bend the left knee upward. Ready for our half hip pose on the other side. Again, flex the right foot. Maybe lift that right leg, holding the leg flexed, or maybe leave it on the floor, but keep the muscles tight. Engage the core, pulling the navel toward the spine. Breathe. Swing that right leg over to the right now. Again, evaluating as we go what the hip feels like here. We might continue to hover the leg for the space of another breath, or go ahead and set it down, but breathe either way. Release the leg down if it's up. Again, we make any little adjustments. Find a good, not a painful stretch, or again, keep the leg in its comfort zone. We may have physical issues where we don't want to stretch the hips. Pull the left knee gently toward the chest, flattening the spine, and maybe, again, for a little more sensation, we might be pressing that right hip down. Ardha Chaturangandasana. Lift up the right leg and swing it in line with the spine and set it down. And now extend the left leg upward, pressing gently through the heel. Slowly and with control, we lower that left leg down, again choosing our arm position depending on how much challenge we want here. And now we'll bend both knees upward, hands on shins or thighs. Or again, we might use the strap across the back of the thighs. Take a deep breath in. Exhale to lift the upper body. Now we might wrap the arms around the knees or catch them with the hands as we release back down. Make sure in this position that the head is touching the floor, or if it isn't, that there's a blanket or some other prop to support the head and neck. We press those knees toward the chest. We try to flatten the spine toward the floor, especially that exhale. Notice how the breath changes, the movement within the pose. Inhale as the rib cage inflates will lift us a little bit. Add that little bit of a lumbar curve. Exhale, again, trying to release and relax as we flatten down. Apanasana, both knee to chest stretch. Release the knees. Bring the arms beside the body, palms down, and extend the legs up toward the ceiling. Pressing gently through the heels, legs good, not painful stretch, not forcing the knees straight. We can keep our arms here, palms down beside the body. Maybe we find it's comfortable to bring those hands under the sacrum at the base of the spine. And once we've done that, continue to press gently through the heels and use the hip muscles now to try to pull the feet toward the head. Don't push to the point of pain. Just find that point where we're challenged, or again, if we have a physical issue that limits us, we want to stay on the comfort zone. This is upward facing foot pose or waterfall pose, Urdhva Mukha Padasana. Release, bend both knees, bring the soles of the feet to the floor. From here, we can roll to our side and come onto our hands and knees, taking a tabletop pose. And I always recommend some extra padding under the knees here. We might use a folded blanket or double up a mat. Remember, if the knees are very tender, we might choose to roll the mat so that the kneecaps are hanging off the front. Make the modification we need to make this comfortable. When the knees are comfortable, we want hands and wrists to be comfortable too. It might be comfortable to have them flat. We might find making fists is more comfortable. We might find we want to take the pressure off those wrists and hands, in which case we can use a bolster or other yoga prop. And again, it doesn't have to be an official yoga bolster. A sofa cushion might work just as well. Once we're in our tabletop position, we gaze a little ahead of the hands and take a deep breath in. Exhaling, the center of the spine begins to move upward. As it does, the head and tailbone tilt toward each other for cat pose, Majariyasana. As we inhale, the center of the spine begins to descend. The head and tailbone will tilt upward and be very gentle with the neck in all these movements. Exhaling again to cat. Inhaling to cow, Betalasana. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhaling, cat. Cow. And cat. Cow. And cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhaling to cat. One more of each. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Return the spine to a neutral position. The gaze is a little ahead of the hands. Soften the jaw, soften the face, and extend the right leg. The ball of the right foot is on the floor here. We press gently back through the heel. Drawing the navel up toward the spine, we engage our core. We press back through that right heel to find a good stretch for the hamstrings. Again, not forcing the knee straight. And maybe we add a little movement if we find that enhances the stretch. Chakravarkasana, spinal balance, or sunbird pose. Coming back to center, walk that right leg out to the right. We press the little toe side of the foot down to the floor. How far forward we bring the leg depends on what we're feeling. Again, it might be straight out 90 degrees. We might find we get that good stretch farther back. Don't press to the point of pain. Pressing that blade edge side of the foot down, draw the navel up toward the spine. If we want more intensity here, we have the option to press the hips back toward the heels, maybe coming onto the forearms. Again, everyone's hips are different. Find a good, not a painful stretch, and breathe. Coming back up, and walk that right leg back, and bring it over to the left. Again, how far to the left depends on what we're starting to feel in those leg muscles. Press gently back through the heel. Find a good, not a painful stretch. And if it's comfortable for the neck, we might look over that left shoulder to add a little side stretch. Always keep the neck and the knees comfortable. They shouldn't be challenged at all. Pulling the navel up toward the spine. Steady breath. Releasing. The right knee comes back down to the floor. And we find stability first in our tabletop pose, and then we extend the left leg. Pressing back through the heel. Drawing the navel toward the spine, softening the face. Breathe. And maybe add the little rocking motion over the wrists. Coming back to the center position now. Walk that left leg out to the left, pressing the blade edge side of the foot down. Draw the navel toward the spine. Again, depending on what we're feeling, for more intensity, we might press the hips back, perhaps coming onto the forearms. Steady, easy breath. Chakravakasana. Coming back up. Walking that left foot back behind the left hip and over behind the right hip now. Maybe a little farther over. Finding that good, not painful stretch, we press gently back through that left heel. And maybe again, depending on how the neck feels, we might look over the right shoulder. Steady breath. Releasing now. Coming back to center, bring that left knee back down. Feet together now, taking the knees wide, child's pose. Or another comfortable pose if we prefer it. To make our child's pose more comfortable, we've always got the option of resting the forehead on a block or bolster. We might put some padding between thighs and calves. If the feet feel uncomfortable extended onto the floor, the padding might go under the ankles here. And again, not every yoga pose is for everybody. If we prefer, we're always free to curl onto our side into a fetal position. We're always free to go into child's pose or any other comfortable pose. Free to sit out or modify any pose that doesn't feel right to us. As we breathe here in our child's pose or comfortable pose of our choice, notice again what's tight or tense. Notice especially if there's tension in the face and shoulders and neck, places where we often do carry tension. Let it go now. Releasing now, and we'll come onto our stomachs. Do a few poses in the prone position. Sphinx pose, one of the gentlest of our lower back exercises. We can make it even more gentle if we like. Put some padding under the hips. It might be a bolster or a blanket. And we rest on our forearms. Palms down, fingers spread. Check in with the lower back at this point. If we want more ease in the pose, we can move those elbows farther apart, and we might take our feet wider too, angling the heels outward. I have back issues myself. I find that this modification is great. It really helps to give some relaxation to the lumbar spine. Shoulders come up and back, and we tuck those shoulder blades down, back, and together. Gazing at the floor is safest for the neck. If it's comfortable to gaze forward, we might do that. Inhale. Fill the lungs. Notice how that lifts us and extends the spine. As we exhale, bring the focus to the lumbar spine and try to relax something. Letting go of stress and tension, breathing length and ease into our lumbar spine. Naravirālasana, Sphinx pose. Now we can gently turn the head, looking down and to the left. Remembering to keep the neck comfortable and to skip anything that doesn't feel good to the neck. Slowly return the gaze forward. Slowly looking down and to the right. And again, we slowly return the gaze forward and release down to the floor. Bring the arms to a comfortable position. Turn the head to the side. Take a couple of deep breaths. If we like, we might bend the knees and sway the lower legs. Little counter pose for our prone back series. Release the legs down now. Turn the head to the right. Bend that right knee and bring the right knee toward the right elbow. We're taking a half frog pose here. Again, depending on what we're feeling in that right hip, that knee can be closer or farther away. We might put a folded blanket along the length of our body underneath to make a little more ease. If we want a little more intensity, we might press that right hip down. Knowing our own hips best, knowing whether we ought to be challenging our hips in this position. Ardha Mandukasana, half frog. And let's extend that right leg back down. Turning the head to the left. Bending the left knee. Bringing it forward as we press the left hip down, noticing what we're feeling. It may be a different experience on this side. Modify accordingly. Again, to make it gentler, we might place some support under the body, a blanket or bolster. For a little more intensity, we might be pressing that left hip gently down. Ardha Mandukasana. And releasing. Extend that left leg back. And take our Sphinx pose again. Again, maybe that folded blanket or bolster under the hips here. Maybe moving the elbows apart, maybe taking those feet wide, heels outward. Shoulders back. Gaze down or forward, just keep the neck comfortable. And we can hold and breathe just as we did before. Or if we'd like to add that frog pose to this pose, we can bend that right knee and bring it forward as we maybe press that right hip down. Again, skip this part if it doesn't feel right to us. If we're doing the half frog variation, we might turn the head to look over the right shoulder to add a little side stretch as well. Ardha Mandukasana in Naravirālasana, half frog and Sphinx. Again, keep the neck and knees comfortable. Skip anything that doesn't feel right to them. And releasing on that side. Extend the right leg back if the knee is bent. And now, option to bend that left knee, to bring it forward, maybe to press the hip toward the floor. And if it's comfortable for the neck, we might look over the left shoulder and breathe. And releasing. Extend that left leg back. Bring the arms to a comfortable position. Turn the head to the side. Again, we might sway the lower legs as a little counter pose. Releasing. Extending the legs back to the floor. From here, roll to the side, bend the knees, and we press ourselves up to a seated position. Extending our legs in front of us. Staff pose, Dandasana. In any seated pose, we might choose to elevate the hips in order to make more room for the knees. It might be more comfortable doing this, or we might find there's a tendency to slump backwards to where raising the hips will help to counter that. Sitting in our staff pose, we want to root the hands down beside the hips. And depending on the relative length of the arms and torso, we might find we need blocks here so that we can straighten the arms without hyperextending the elbows. Press down through the arms. Keep the arms active, pressing through the hands. We activate our legs by pressing the knees down, pressing the heels down, spreading the toes. We draw the navel gently toward the spine. If it's comfortable for the neck, we might lower the chin toward the chest. Dandasana, staff pose. And releasing. Sitting up tall, bend the right knee and pull that right knee toward the chest for Marichiasana, so our seated spinal half twist. We want to be pressing down through that right foot as if we're standing on it. We keep the left leg extended with the foot flexed. There's energy in that left leg. Now we place our right hand behind the hip. Extend the left arm and bend the left elbow, and we can use that right hand or right elbow to walk out that bent right knee. Again, the neck goes no further into the twist than it's comfortable. Each inhale, we can root down, pressing through the right foot, the sits bones, extend up through the crown of the head. Exhaling, maybe we can find a little more ease to go deeper. Maybe we find we need to come out a little bit. If we're feeling a lot of intensity in that lower back, we might walk that right hand back a little bit. Just keeping the spine long, whether it's straight up and down or leaning back. Marichiasana, seated spinal half twist. And release. Forward facing, extend the right leg, bend the left knee upward. Pressing that left foot down, keeping the right leg strongly extended. Left hand behind left hip, and we extend the right arm, bending the elbow. Using that right hand or right elbow to walk out the bent left knee. Inhale to root down and lengthen. Exhale to explore the twist with the breath. Marichiasana. Releasing now. Extending both legs. Bend the knees. Walk the feet out about mat width distance apart. Gently take the knees from side to side. Little neutralizing windshield wiper action, relieving after the tensions of the twist. And we lie back onto our backs now. Again, we might have that folded blanket under the head. Arms beside the body, palms upward, bend the knees. Feet hips width distance apart. We can cross the right knee over the left. Gently take those bent knees toward the left. For more intensity, we might be pressing that right shoulder down. We might be using the left hand on the right thigh to press it open. If we want less intensity, we've got our blocks or our bolster. We can support the knees. And again, because not every yoga pose is for everybody, if we find this is really uncomfortable, we might uncross the knees and do a different variation of our lying down spinal twist. Jatara Parivartanasana. Steady, easy breath. Release with the exhale. Keep the neck wherever it's most comfortable in this and every spinal twist. Bringing the knees back upward. Uncross the knees and then change the cross. Left knee over right now. Gently taking the bent knees over to the right. And again, modify as we go. Maybe we're pressing that left shoulder down or using the right hand on the left thigh for a little more intensity. Maybe we're backing out a little bit and supporting those knees, using a block or bolster or other prop. We breathe, finding what's tight or tense and releasing, and always keeping our neck and our knees in their comfort zone. Jatara Parivartanasana. Bringing the knees back upward and uncross the knees. Again, walk the feet out mat width distance apart, knees bent upward, arms beside the body, palms upward. We'll do a little gentle back and forth windshield wiper action to neutralize the tension of the twisting we've done. Jatara Parivartanasana. One of that family of poses, all with the same name. Slow the breath down, gently moving, never taking the knees out of their comfort zone. And then bring the knees back upward, walk the feet in, hips width distance apart. We can extend our arms overhead if that's comfortable. Taking a deep breath in. Long, full exhale, stretching out the spine. Another deep breath in. Another long, full exhale. One more deep breath in. Exhale, extending the arms up toward the ceiling. Now we shut our eyes or soften our gaze and rub the palms of the hands together, generating some heat between the palms and then pressing the palms over the eye sockets. We can open the mouth wide, allow the mouth to close, lips together, teeth apart, the tongue relaxed inside the mouth. From here, our elbows can slip to the floor and our hands can fall, palms upward, open and relaxed. And we're ready for our last pose, Shavasana, relaxation pose. We might take the same pose we did in the beginning, knees bent upward, leaning against each other for support. Or we might find it more comfortable to extend the legs and use a bolster or rolled up blanket under the knees. I do recommend having something there so that the knees are bent, allowing the lower back to relax here. If we choose, we might be lying on our side or stomach instead, using our props to make ourselves comfortable. And now we take deep, natural breaths, letting go of stress and tension with each exhale. We relax and breathe. Beginning now, bringing awareness back to our bodies, we can deepen our breathing, waken our bodies with small movements, the fingers and toes, hands and feet. We can gently turn the head from side to side. We can extend arms and legs, stretching out the spine. Then bending our knees upward, we can roll to our side. Maybe curl into a fetal position and remain there breathing until we're ready to press ourselves back up to seated. Namaste. The light within me salutes the light within you. Thank you for practicing with me today.